Good morning. Man, that's loud. That's loud. Hey, 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 check one. Sorry about that. I deafened myself. Let's see here. We got us on the small screen. My nose is all red because of allergies and it's broken out a little bit. So you guys don't need to see that, right? So let's do this here. Let's get the 1, 2, 3 low board up. But I want to talk about Labor Day. I hope everybody had a great weekend. And let's see, let's do a load availability. And we'll share the screen. Sorry, I'm an amateur here. There we go. There it is. So I wanted to do that. Anyways, guys, this is all trailers. Talk about Labor Day, right? So Labor Day and booking ahead. Now, when the market's hot, booking ahead can be disadvantageous in van. Free for you still want to book ahead, I think. When the market's not so hot though, you gotta book ahead. Because if you don't, you're struggling. Excuse me. Allergies been kicking my butt. And here's a good example. So Friday, I had a truck ending in Tulsa. And in a normal market, I was pretty confident I can get them out. And we didn't know if he was going to be empty by Friday afternoon. And if so, how many hours he would have left. So I had to play it. I had to play last minute with him. Tell you what, the last thing you want to do is to try to book a load from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon right now. Avoid that. And what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of brokers will post a load that will pick up on Friday. And then when you call them, they'll say, no, it actually picks up Saturday or Sunday. Well, if I wanted to pick up the load on Saturday, I would have asked if it was, I would put that on my low board settings, right? So it's really irritating because for every phone call that you make, it's a waste of time in and of itself, right? And I found one broker in a lie. I go, hey, I'm looking at this. This was a couple of weeks ago when I was in this same situation that I didn't really put that person in. And I was like, hey, I'm looking at your load. It was out of the Indy area. He goes, yeah, it picks up at 4 o'clock. Today? He's like, yeah. You realize it's like 5:30 now, right? Your time, because it was 4:30 my time. He's like, oh yeah, it picks up Monday. I said, well, does it pick up today or does it pick up Monday? No, it could pick up today. Well, how late can you pick it up? Yeah, by this time, I've already wasted like 5 minutes with this person. And so what would have happened is if that guy had just flat out said, yeah, it can pick up today. They'll work you in. And then you show up and, lock gates and you get there and they're like, oh yeah, I guess it's for Monday. Now you're giving a load back or you're sitting on that all weekend if that's the only thing that you can get. So, I mean, you really have to be careful of shenanigans, and it's experience that teaches you these things. That's where the Facebook forums and blogs and other video creators comes in handy, because then you can learn from their mistakes or you can learn from their experiences. When I was at Landstar, I think I learned one hard lesson when it came to holiday booking, but I avoided most of it because the Landstar forums on Facebook would tell me, hey, you know, this is what happens, this is what happened, this is what happened to my driver, this is what happened to me, blah blah blah. And you know, when you got expenses that you can't miss a day, man, these shenanigans, as I call them, can really kind of take you down. You get 3 or 4 of those in a row, and boom, now you're in the hole. Carrier loves it when you're in the hole because then you got to keep moving. No time off, right? That's why, you know, payments are weekly, you know, in most leases. But anyways, so yeah, you got to be careful of shenanigans. And then a lot of load postings are automatic. So you go to the DAT and you see this one broker book, you know, posting the same load every 5 minutes. And you call and there's no answer. There's no answer. It's like you realize it's what I call an automatic ghost posting. There's one broker I called Friday that was like, "Do you still have this load?" No. Okay, well, for the last hour and a half, you've been posting it every 5 minutes, so I was just kind of curious. So it's either automatic posting or it's a load that nobody wanted because it's like 300 miles and doesn't deliver till Wednesday. I actually found the load that was doing that. Paid $800, picked up Friday afternoon, and didn't deliver till Tuesday or Wednesday. $800. Well, it's above the 30-day average. Please don't insult my intelligence. So you just kind of move on. You don't get emotional with them because their game is sometimes more crooked than your game, right? Anyways, finally had to pick something that worked on a Sunday and ended up working out because he had some trail issues we had to deal with. So anyways, good morning, guys. Hope you had a good weekend. We'll do some shout outs and then we'll get to this low board stuff. And then we need to talk about Labor Day. If you're not already thinking about what you're going to do over during Labor Day weekend, which is coming up pretty close, you better kind of get in the mindset because you're going to lose a day if you don't do things correctly. So we'll go over that. So let's do some shout outs. You guys are all in here doing your thing. Jose, good morning. What's up? Good to see you. Nothing Witty is in the house. This Tour Life, how's it going? Sage News Live, hey now. Pam, what's up? Chuck for Life, good morning. Max Force, hello. Daryl Worth, good morning. Greg Zimmer, good morning, Steve. Let's make some money today. Absolutely. Big Tail, what's up? Red Pepper, good morning. TJ, what's up? You guys aren't very chatty this morning. That's all right. Good morning, Donnie Luke. Mr. Charles, good morning. So, you know, it's Monday. It's a fresh week. You know, they're beating us up on the rates, but we can get through it. My trucks are all averaging about the same. And, you know, each of them have had their issues this week. You know, I got one driver that was hit in the parking lot at the Flying J there. And that's the other thing. You gotta look at you know, there's one driver. I've had 2 drivers. I kind of warned them. It's like, all right, if you're going to stay at that Flying J, and be careful where you park because I know a lot of hoods get taken out at these particular Flying J's. One in Joplin and one in Tulsa. You got to park in either the paid parking or the back row there in Tulsa. And then Joplin, it's kind of like you need the row that's facing the fuel islands or the rows that are facing the CNG pumps or facing the shop. there. Anything else, you're kind of at risk there because they don't, they're older Flying J's, so they don't allow for a lot of swing room. Now, the Flying J in Springfield, unless you're parking over there by the paid parking that's next to the fuel islands, where it gets kind of tight, everything else is a straight back. So I don't see a lot of trucks being damaged there. And then the Flying J in Sullivan's kind of the same way. It's not like Springfield. It's like Tulsa. You got to be careful where you park, or it's easy to get your hood taken out. So just be careful, right? Gary, are you trying to tell me brokers lie? Next thing you're going to do is say brokers lie as well. Yeah. Look, man, just like we have our any port in a storm, they do too, right? They want to pass off. Always worry about pickup and delivery numbers. I had a delivery number bite me in the butt early in my owner operator deal at Landstar. I picked up a load. There was another Landstar truck. We both picked up the same load going to Dollar General in Ardmore. I had a gig coming up for the band, and it was delivering. My intention was to deliver it on Tuesday, and got there about an hour early, which I know they won't check in more than an hour early. And the other Landstar truck was already parked on the side. Well, I get there and they're like, you got a problem. You need to park over to the side because you're in the way, number one. But number two, your delivery number's no good. I go, what do you mean it's no good? And they're like, well, that truck already has that delivery number. So back and forth. It was Landstar, so it was a co-brokered load. So now we're like trying to coordinate, 5 people at this point. Finally, the booth, the security office said, you know what? Here's how we're going to do it. You've got one good delivery number, and that guy was here first. Had I beat that guy, they would have given it to me. So I go back to Flying J there in Ardmore, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to deliver you till Friday. I'm like, yeah, that's a problem. I have a gig on Friday. I said, if you don't get this load off Friday, I need to go home, and then we'll deliver it next week. And she's like, no, we'll figure something out. So I finally got unloaded the next day. But that's when I learned that you better have your delivery numbers. If you don't see it on the rate con, you badger the broker and make sure you got it. And then that's experience, right? The gal at Landstar agent was very nice. She was, I don't think she was at fault. And she made up for it by giving me a co-brokered load that I knew existed coming out of Muskogee. And it got me home. It paid for fuel, but it's literally a 3,000-pound load. So anyways, and then that agent became MIA. Like, she wouldn't answer the phone. I think she finally gave up. So, that's the problem with this industry is you find a good agent or you find a good a broker, and then they end up leaving their company. That's happened to me twice at a big brokerage that I use. And you're back scrambling. So yeah, relationships are important, but they could be done like that. If you're in North Ohio and you get rained on, it's my fault. I washed my truck. There you go. Jason has caused the rain. Well, at least your truck doesn't create tornado weather like mine does, or hurricanes. But anyways, let's look at 1, 2, 3 here. This is all trailers, so let's separate this. Let's look at flatbed first. You guys got the best market right now. there's where you need to be if you're flatbed. Southeast always a lot of lumber, a lot of equipment. This is equipment, steel, and this is an assortment of things probably coming from the ports. I'm not sure what comes out of Oregon on flatbed. I try not to send trucks there. I don't have any flatbeds on my service right now. The one flatbed guy I did have, he figured it out on his own. He found a broker that pretty much keeps him moving. And he told me it was going to be temporary anyways. So, and then the one step deck guy that occasionally calls me, he's usually in dead areas, so I'm usually not much help to him. So let's do step deck. By the way, look at that. Look how the map changes. Boink. A little bit more red. You know, a little bit less green. Washington's still good. I believe Cascade bounces. He just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. All right. A little bit more green, but it's all in this area right here. That's going to be equipment, things of that nature. Let's see. Now let's do van. Most of you are probably driving van. Van's looking pretty thin. Texas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. And if you look at my if I look at my Samsara with where all the trucks are, they follow this pretty much. So and they're using the same tools, and they're going where the freight is, right? Arizona's orange, so that's an uptick from normally it's red. Look at Washington though, not much coming out of those ports. California is still pretty good. Load ratios on California were pretty decent Friday afternoon. And here's the other thing you got to think about. I had a conversation with a driver, and she almost took a load that would have bit her in the butt pretty good. When you look at long haul, let's say you're picking a load from, let's say, Missouri to California. I see that, right? You look at the length of time it's going to get there, and just know that sometimes the market changes overnight. So you might look at California and go like, oh, it's a good market right now. I'm going to head that way. And the tail of the tape is if they're offering a low rate going to California, that means that it's pretty hot coming out. A lot of back when everybody was getting 8, 9, 10 grand to come out of California, they were only paying $1.40, $1.60 to go in for van. And so at the end of the day, you want to look at the market, but then just know it's going to change. And then coming out, you got to look ahead. You got to look at, let's say you're going to Stockton, California. You want to look at Stockton and see what the average rate per mile is coming out. You might realize that, you know what, I might take a hit coming out. And so at the end of the week or the end of the time period, you might see that your daily rate was only like $600 a day after all is said and done. And you'll be like, well, that wasn't worth it. But then, if you bounce up and down I-5, now you're dealing with Oregon and the cost to drive Oregon. Now you're dealing with high fuel prices. Now you're dealing with 55 miles per hour. Now you're dealing with major traffic like in the LA area. So there's a lot of things you got to consider. And if you don't know the area, you don't know the rates, then you're taking a big risk going out there blind. I can't tell you how many times I have a driver that calls me freaking out. Hey man, I'm in such and such California. I don't know what to do. So I'm like, well, here's what we're going to do. So generally, if I go to California, If I put a truck in California, it's stocked in LA area. And then we're looking at the rate per day. There's only one of my drivers that goes out there. Washington was good at one time because the ports in Seattle were taking some of the overflow from LA. But now all that stuff has moved northeast, as you can see by this map. Let's look at reefer. There's reefer. Washington went orange instead of green. That's interesting. Now, if you like long running, you're going to end up probably somewhere in one of these states, or you're going to end up over here in the Northeast. If you end up in the Northeast, New York, PA, New Jersey, and then they're still going to fight you on the rates on those areas. So just keep that in mind. And right now, Texas is kind of stupid. It's bad going in and bad coming out, unless you're coming out of Laredo. All right, that was the youngest one going to school. So generally, that's kind of what you want to think. By the way, if you're interested in trying out the 123 low bore 30-day free for 48065 is my code. So, anywho, see what happens when I do this. Oh yeah, there's my red nose. Let's check something out here real quick. You can also go to the density list. I like the map better. It kind of tells you. Like right now, it's California 633 inbound, 724, or out 633 outbound, 724 inbound. A lot of intrastate in California, which if you don't have the right permits, you can't do. Look how lopsided Florida is. So, these are the things that you want to look at. So, let's look at Trucker's Edge. All right, this is my load ratio. This is for van. California has got more out than in, so that's pretty good. This is for van, by the way. Georgia's looking a little bit hotter than normal. Illinois, Indiana, of course. All the same states that are green. Maryland looks pretty good. A lot of stuff coming out of Baltimore area. Ohio, PA, Texas is not great. 2581 going in, 1980 coming out. Those numbers are kind of low, by the way. Usually that's a lot higher number. Wisconsin looks pretty good. So, the things that you have to the things you have to realize, right? So let's go back to the density map here. Yeah. So Labor Day, we were going to talk about Labor Day. So you're going to want your Labor Day plan by Friday, probably before that. So what you'll do is you'll find something that picks up. You want to find something that picks up fairly early Friday. If you are trying to pick up a load at 5 p.m. on a Friday and you don't know if the shipper is 24/7, like if it's P&G, you'll get away with, you'll be all right. But generally, if you're pushing the cuff like that, Friday at 5, 6 p.m. Friday night, you might show up at the shipper and they might be closed. Now, generally, that happens more around Christmas or New Year's for Thanksgiving, but not Labor Day is usually not as bad, right? So now let's say you pick a 1,000-mile load, it's not going to deliver till Tuesday. So guess what? You're sitting. So if you can get a load that goes through the house, that's your best advantage, right? So if you live in, say, Joplin, Missouri, you get a load that either delivers Joplin, Carthage, or Springfield, or not Springfield. Well, if you're coming from the east, Springfield's not good, but Tulsa, Arkansas, and then you just go through the house on your home time. So you're going to lose a day. You might as well do it at home. But if you take a long run, let's say you pick up a load in, say, Pennsylvania, that holiday is not going to much matter to you. You're going to get an extra day to run, so you don't have to run as hard. You won't be like, all right, this load's got to be in Oklahoma, 2-day transit, kind of a deal. It's going to be a 3-day transit. So now you don't have to do 600 miles a day. You can do, 450, 500. Keep your hours. Because, a lot of people don't realize that if you never want to run out of your 70, keep it at 8.5 hours a day. You'll never run out of your 70. But unfortunately, the long haul stuff, they got it so tight that you're pretty much having to run 600, 650. Some want you to run 700, which, I kindly tell those brokers that they need to readjust those times. Well, this is just what the customer gave us. No, you waited till the last minute to book this load, and now it's biting you in the butt. That's where the van with team pops up, right? There's two types of van team loads. One is that they screwed around, and now they need that load there tomorrow, and it's 800 something miles. Or it's a high security load. Either way, you need to ask for your money because you're in high demand there. Back when the ELD mandate first kicked in, team loads were hot because now all of a sudden these guys that were running this stuff kind of fudging the numbers, now they couldn't. If a guy wanted to run illegal on paper, you can make a lot of money right now because you got to be working your butt off though. But I don't recommend doing that. A few weeks ago on a Friday, I was in Oklahoma City, told my next broker my ETA was 3 p.m. for an open appointment until 4 p.m. They got nervous, pulled the load at 1 p.m., so I had to scramble and recover. I hate that. They always get nervous. Morning, entering late. Guess I slept in. Hope everyone is good. Good to see you, Fate Trucking. TK, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Killian's Trucking, good morning. Finally able to catch a live. Good morning from U.S. Gypsum in, I can't pronounce that, PA. Awesome. A lot of onion loads last week moving east from the west. Yep. A lot of onions, a lot of apples, potatoes. Yeah, they got to put them on a flatbed. They can't sit there and rot in the trailer. Good morning, CDN. What's up? Life after recovery. Lone Wolf. What's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you in here. Mr. Mallory, good morning. I am empty, my friend. All right. Well, that means I got to get to work. So, anyways, guys, great load. Good deal. Easy breezy, right? We like the loads that are easy. I was to say it's light too, but I remember no, it wasn't light. It was you were probably maxed out. So basically the intent was I wasn't going to go live this morning because I wasn't really feeling it. Plus I got a couple of trucks that I got to deal with this morning. So I don't want to be that guy that's I'm on YouTube and I've got empty trucks sitting there going, dude, what the hell? Plan your Labor Day. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email's in the description. Um, it's you're either going to end up in a dead area or a slower area because you're going to do some long miles this weekend, or you're going to end up going home because you're going to lose a day. Brokers don't care about your daily rate. They don't care about that extra day. And it's not like there's not enough trucks. Like Christmas, you can get away with, hey, I'm running, no one else is, and so I'm your only option, and you got some leverage. But right now, everybody's so desperate. The amount of BS that I had to put up with on Friday trying to book at the last minute was insane. And the rates that they were trying to push these loads for, a buck 36 a mile, take it or leave it, go to hell kind of stuff. That was dumb. That was dumb. And that means that people are taking these loads and they're desperate because they got $200,000 trucks, $100,000 trailers, and they're freaking out right now. And so don't be that person. That's who's underbidding you, not the guys with the paid off trucks. They have the luxury to sit a little bit and wait for that higher payment. I noticed that Nevada did a load of hay. I think he said it was a buck 60 a mile. Nevada Trucking and Trails. Number one, I hope he used a mask when he blew that trail out, or he probably got a sinus infection. But just know what you're getting into. And just be aware of the areas that you're going into. Look at your averages. Yes, you want to get above the average, but look at the load average amounts coming out of a state to see if you even want to go in there. And so you find yourself, okay, I'm forced to go to Jacksonville, Florida, because that's the only thing that's left. Look at what's coming out of Jacksonville and look at the rates. Look at the volumes. If there's only 10 loads and they're all the same broker booking the same thing, guess what? You just screwed yourself. So you have to watch for load counts. Texas is another one. You go, oh, there's 400 loads within a X amount mile radius of Dallas. That should be good, right? Not if 300 of them are intrastate and you don't have that authority. So you gotta keep this stuff in mind, or at least have someone help you like me that knows this stuff, right? So these are the things you got to keep in mind. These are the things that you're going to learn either by people with experience telling you, or you're going to learn the hard way on your own. And if you've got max amount of expenses, every lesson is an expensive lesson. So, and then also truck repairs and maintenance. Tires are getting higher, and it's harder and harder to find people in the shops. I had a truck that wanted to get his alignment done, and so I got him in a certain area, and then I got a phone call saying that the shop can't do it because they were down 2 mechanics. So, there's still a labor shortage out there. 15K only? Huh. So you think we'll see the food shortages in October like media says? Maybe. I think it just depends on where you live and what your supply chain looks like. If you're completely dependent on Aldi's or Walmart, it might be more of a struggle. But if you can afford to shop at a higher end restaurant, or not restaurant, store, then you'll probably be okay. So instead of 30 varieties of cereal, you might only have 10. So that might look like a food shortage, but if you get into intermittent fasting and eat right, food shortages won't be as a big worry. So last week I was at 7, but I know I'm losing 3 or 4 this week because of home time, downtime, and one outside carrier kind of uses me on a temporary basis, and I know he's home now. He can book his trucks. So anything that they can do to save a little bit of money. But yeah, last week was pretty intense. This week promises to be a little bit less intense, but still intense. So I'm with you. Delivered at 18:30 on Friday. Ended up dead heading to the house. Wasn't worth it to stay out. There you go, T-Bone. It's. I normally don't struggle out of Tulsa. I have a few tricks up my sleeve when it comes to Tulsa, and it was just absolutely everything was going out west. It was all the crap no one else wanted because they're only wanting to pay $1.60 to go out to Washington or Oregon or California. I'm like, are you insane? Do you not? I mean, and it's no use arguing with them, and that's why a lot of brokers have gone to email only because they don't want to hear your crap. They don't want to hear you griping at them. They don't want to hear your anger when they're trying to pass a load for $1.60 a mile. They know that they know that you're desperate. They see blood and they're going to take it. Seems like the food shortage would have already happened. No, things seem to be okay now from my point of view. It just depends on the harvest. It's not harvest time at this point. It's next year that's really going to affect. So just look, I've been saying for the last 6 months, buy 2 of everything, and when you use one, replace it. If you're a carb eater and you eat cereal, buy 2 boxes, and then when one gets empty, you replace it. Don't buy cereal, by the way. Dispatch only. I do have my own truck signed on with Like Trucking, and the majority of my trucks are with Like Trucking. So, Love's quoted me $9.51 for one drive tire last week. Yep, it's getting stupid in the tire world. It really is. Jordan, what's up? So, and I think my video disturbed a few people on Friday because I was a little bit too doom and gloom. And look, there's money to be made still. I've got the numbers to prove it. However, it's a little bit tougher. It's a little bit more frustrating, and there's hardly any room for error at this point if your costs are high. And one breakdown, one out of service, or one blown tire on the interstate can really be expensive for the week. I've had weeks myself where I blow a tire, causes me to be late on one load, and then I have to cancel the next load, and then now I'm back to scrambling. It's like you do everything right. You stay a day ahead. You do everything correctly, and then something else happens to kind of interrupt that. And so now at the end of the week, you're frustrated, you're mad, and you only made $4K, and you're 1,000 miles from the house. That weighs a lot on you mentally. So your mental fitness has got to be good. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, 48065 on the 123 gives you 30 days free, and then it gives you $20 off a month on the premium services, which includes all the tools. So, anyways, that's it, guys. That's it. So, with that being said, thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody coming in. We'll see what this week brings. I have hope that this week will be better. And then September is usually the trigger point after Labor Day when things kind of start popping again, volume-wise and rate-wise. So there's light at the end of the tunnel. We just got to figure out if it's from an oncoming train or if there really is some relief in sight. So with that being said, thanks for watching, and I will leave you with this. Strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Peace.